The Packers have played their 4 quarters. Now it's time for the 5th quarter.
Oh, a tepid applause. Deservedly so.
You seem a little tepid as well.
Miserable weekend in our nation's capital. Aside from the weather, it was just terrible. It was overcast and rainy all weekend long. I came down with something. The stadium is a dump. The crowd they didn't even put a paid attendance on the stat sheet because there were so few fans there.
Really?
It was empty.
It looked...
There were more Packer fans than Redskin fans.
It did look that way on television for sure.
Place holds 80,000. I don't think there were 60,000 there. They had 57,000 for their home opener. And I don't know if you follow me on Twitter. Mark Daniels at WNFL is my handle, by the way. But I took a picture. There were about 6 or 7 5-gallon pails inside the press box to collect dripping water. Inside a National Football League stadium press box. One of the Packer PR guys had to wear a coat with his hood up because he was getting rained on inside the press box. This place is an embarrassment.
I think the money they were going to use to do upkeeps at the stadium is going to fund the border wall, so that's totally fine.
That's where they're
totally
getting
fine.
it. That's where they're getting
totally
it.
fine.
Oh, I thought, well, they saved all that money with
You got to have priorities, man.
Without Cousins, they saved all that money, and I thought they'd put it. But anyway, and it was a miserable game. I don't know how to explain the Packers getting out the way they did. They gave up 28 in the first half, shut things down in the second half a little bit defensively. Aaron Rodgers is as hobbled as I've seen him. They're dropping passes. They're fumbling the ball. They're committing penalties. Very, very ugly performance by the Packers, and now they're 1-1-1.
Hey, at least you're not 1-2.
That could,
right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, 1-1-1. It doesn't feel good. I mean, at least the Vikings lost, right? But now, what game you thought was going to be sort of an easy game against the Bills is now, well, what do you expect?
I don't know what to
from
expect.
That Bills team.
I don't know what we're going to expect from this team, probably until Rodgers is completely right. And now they're getting nicked up. I don't know if you heard, but Muhammad Wilkerson done for the year.
Yeah.
A very nasty ankle injury. He will be on injured reserve. He stayed overnight in a D.C. area hospital. In fact, he had to have a procedure just to allow him to travel. So they had to kind of somehow stabilize this ankle. We don't know exactly the details of the injury, but it is season-ending on that defensive line, and he was one of the guys Mike Pettin, really wanted to be a part of this front. So now, next up is Dean Lowry, I guess. Kenny Clark, Mike Daniels. Lowry's going to get some more snaps. Montravius Adams will play a role. Brian Bulaga with a sore back. Justin McCray with a wounded shoulder. And it looks like we're back on the carousel with the offensive line 3 weeks into the season.
Not surprised that it was a season-ending injury for Wilkerson. I don't know if you saw this, but on the television broadcast, they kept the camera on him his entire way back to the locker room.
He
had his hands on his face masks, and he just wouldn't show his face. You knew that he was hurting, that it was a very, very severe injury.
And it was, Bryce who rolled into him. Unfortunately, it was just one of those
his own
guys.
guy. Yeah, that happens.
Speaking of Kentrell Bryce, for as good as he was in the opener, I don't know if I could put him in center field in a baseball game because he has trouble finding footballs that are sailing down the middle of the field. And that cost the Packers early on the opening touchdown. Big plays with a big difference, obviously. 5 plays of 20-plus yards for the Redskins in the first half compared to just 1 for the Packers. And they converted all of those into points. 3 pass interference penalties on 1 series? Are you kidding me? And then, of course, we'll get to it. Yep, the big one. Called again on Clay Matthews.
Yeah, and, Coach McCarthy talked after the game. You can't just keep putting yourself in holes. I mean, you saw it against the Bears. You were down early, and then you actually were able to dig yourself out of that. But if you continue to do that week after week, and it happened again with the Redskins, you're not going to win a lot of those games. I mean, it's great to have Aaron Rodgers and these come-from-behind victories, but at some point, you got to be a front runner.
Yeah.
You've got to figure out how to start those games better.
That's all they talked about. A lot of guys.
And especially on the defensive side of things. Now you've seen this with the Bears and with the Redskins. Bad first half, really good second halves. They're making adjustments. It's how do you make those adjustments maybe a little sooner in the first half.
Or be better prepared for what you're expecting.
Prepared.
Yeah,
have a better plan maybe going into what you think the opposing offense is going to do.
And when you fall behind, your play, rotation is so out of whack. The Redskins ran the ball 35 times, passed it 20.
Yep.
Packers threw the ball 45 times. Well, 44 with Rodgers, 1 with J.K. Scott. 45 times and ran the ball only 17 times. Those numbers have got to get flipped around or at least get more equal, or this could be problematic.
Yeah, you need balance. Otherwise, your offense, even with the best quarterback, becomes a little predictable and stale. You have to have balance and other options. Keep a defense guessing.
3rd and 10s are hard. 3rd and 15s are harder.
Absolutely.
And they're facing way too many of those. So, long way to go. I'm not ready to, burn down the house or anything like that. But they do have to play a little bit better. Lots to talk about with this one, obviously. And we'll do it with one of my favorite kids in the locker room, back on the field for the first time after a suspension. Running back, Showtime 33, Aaron Jones will be our special guest tonight.
We've got to get our fact checkers busy tonight, because this could be the first time in the history of the fifth quarter that we've had back-to-back guests who have a twin brother.
Justin
the McRaes and the Jones.
And now the Jones, who still brother playing with the Ravens, I believe.
Aaron and Alvin, yeah.
All right. Well, we'll get to the bottom of that one as well.
I would assume that streak comes to an end next week. We don't know of any other twinsies on the Packers, do we?
I could search them out, see if there are any other twins on the team, and keep this thing going. We're going to send somebody to the Packers and the Bills this Sunday from our friends at Robinson. Much more to give away as well, so make sure you sign up in the box. But let's go to FedEx Field and hear from the guys after that one yesterday. 31-17, Washington winner. Mike McCarthy didn't have an opening statement. He just said, I'll take questions. And the first one was, another roughing the passer penalty on number 52.
Well, I think just like anything in the game of football, you focus on what you can control. We had way too many penalties, so in our fundamentals were poor. In Clay's particular case, I thought Clay did exactly what he's supposed to do there. So, how it's being officiated, those are questions for other people. He hit him with his shoulder. He's coming full speed off of a block. He braced himself, so I was fine with what Clay did.
And so was, I think, everyone else in the world, except in New York City and in the eyes of Craig Rolstad.
It is now interesting how the NFL is very quick to react to these plays. They're on Twitter very soon after some of these plays are happening with the explanation of why it was a penalty.
Arrogant out of the NFL, in my opinion.
It was. The whole body weight, by definition, if you're tackling someone, your body weight is going to be on the person. So how do you determine,
I don't know,
in the heat of battle, how much body weight is too much body weight?
It's just silly. It's really silly. And again, Clay was absolutely surrounded by reporters after that ball game in front of the cameras to explain, here we go again.
Well, obviously I don't agree with it again. Whereas last week I thought I did it, hit the quarterback correctly. Head was to the side again, wrapped him up. And you see, as soon as I hit the ground, you see me try and pull my hands out. Obviously when you're tackling a guy from the front, you're going to land on him. I understand the spirit of the rule. I said that, weeks prior. But when you have a hit like that, that's a football play. I even went up to Alex Smith after the game, asked him, what do you think? What can I do differently? Because that's a football play.
It was a football play. Even Alex Smith admitted that.
Here's what I would like to see from the NFL. Not the tweet that says, here's the Section 12 9B of why this was a penalty. What I want to start seeing from the NFL is start sending your guys then to the practices and show Clay Matthews in real time what he should have done differently.
There's nothing he should have done differently because that was exactly what he should do.
Exactly. I want to see from the NFL. You hit a quarterback and
you get him to the ground.
Not the explanation of the penalty. I want to see, okay, fine, it's a penalty. Show me how that should have been executed differently.
Because I don't think they have any film.
They can't.
They can't because every tackle of a quarterback, some body part is going to fall on top of him, whether it's the weight of your wrist or the weight of your gut.
It was a textbook tackle. He did everything right. It wasn't helmet to helmet. He hit him in the strike zone. He drove him down. He springs up like a trampoline just to make sure he's not on him too long.
Unbelievable.
I don't know what else you can do.
And either does Clay, who has no idea where else to turn.
Maybe now pass rushers, guys can have the quarterback. You just have to attack the ball, which is, I've been playing this game for over 20 years. That's how you tackle. So we'll see. Something's got to change because, the league's not. And these are big plays. Like I said last week, these are big plays. So disappointed. I tried to change from last week and still get the flag. So it's unfortunate.
Super unfortunate.
Yeah, and which play was more vicious? Clay Matthews?
Oh, Deron Perry, without question.
Or, the Aaron Rodgers sack, where he's picked up and dropped on his head.
It looked like Ric Flair, a WWE suplex.
It was a suplex.
And he slammed him down.
Which one is more violent and has more intent to injure?
I know.
It's not Clay Matthews' play. It's the other.
I agree. Even Matthews hit in the first series of the game where he knocked the ball loose out of Smith.
Yeah.
Trying to get away. That was as vicious a hit as the one that sacked. Here's Craig Rolstad's quote after the game from the NFL Pool reporter. I had judged that the defender landed on the quarterback when he was tackling him with most or all of his body weight, and that's not allowed. If you do that, it's roughing the passer. So that was basically my key, that he landed on him with most or all of his body weight, and that was my ruling, roughing the passer. Follow-up was, yes, I think there have been some examples on the media tapes, but if you got a shoulder into him and then landed on him with most of his body weight off him or released him when he went down, then he would have been okay. But in my judgment, I ruled that he landed on him with most or all of his body weight there.
So as the QB's falling, you're supposed to just olay and let him just fall?
Yeah.
That it's not how these guys have learned to tackle their entire lives.
And I'm starting to wonder now, Z, if Clay's treatment by the officials and the NFL is affecting the rest of the defensive unit in any way. Question I posed to Kenny Clark.
Yes, I mean, it's frustration, but it's part of football. You got to live with it. I think he did another good job of tackling the quarterback, and the call went the other way. So you got to just live with it. We got off the field on that drive, I believe. So you got to just live with it.
Yeah, they did get off the field after that one. It wasn't like the Vikings or the Bears, where it came absolutely late and in very critical times in the game, but this was still big.
If you don't want him to bring him to the ground the way he did, then the refs are going to have to blow the play dead immediately when a linebacker or lineman gets to the quarterback and just call it, all right, he's in the grass, he's down, don't let him hit. It's a sack.
You're touched.
You can't spin out of this. Sorry, if you're an athletic quarterback, if you get touched, you're down automatically.
It's just ridiculous.
Otherwise, you're going to keep having this stuff, and it's not being called equally. They're missing too many of these.
I agree. Well, whatever. Washington got out of the gate, as I said, with a handful of big plays in that first half. Tramon Williams says, we better get a handle on that, boys.
Most definitely. First half was bad. I don't know how else to put it. First half was bad. A lot of inconsistent play. We came out second half and did better, but it was a little too late.
I guess. No, offense sputtered right away. Aaron Rodgers has insisted this is going to be a work in progress, but yesterday, it just didn't work.
We need to start a little faster. We haven't been starting fast in games. We've been double-digit deficits at halftime a couple times now, and we got to play better in the first quarter so we don't have to come back and do some heroic in the fourth quarter.
Indeed. Randall Cobb, miserable game. Drop on the first 3rd and 3. Dropped on a 4th and 2. Fumbled in the fourth quarter. But he wasn't alone.
Penalties, we put ourselves in long distance, and those are hard to pick up. Third down, 15 plus is tough. It's hard to win like that. Every time we had a big play, something was called back. Playing against the refs as well.
Yeah. It's 11 on 18, right? 7 officials, I think, on the field. As for the Redskins, now 2-1. Wide receiver Jamison Crowder just happy to hold serve at home.
I mean, we just knew that we had to, win at home. You got to be able to win at home. You got to use it to your advantage. And last week we didn't play well here, and today we want to come out there, and even though it was raining, we still go out there and make plays.
They made enough. Packers not enough, and they fall to 1-1-1. We're just getting started. We are glad you are listening in Sheboygan and Wausau and viewing us on our Midwest Communications streaming websites. We're going to take a break and bring on our guest for the evening. We're live from the Stadium View. What's going on, Z?
They got Singo every Wednesday from 6 to 9. That's musical bingo. This Saturday, they're going to have dueling pianos here in the banquet hall. Doors open at 7. Show starts at 8. Double Bubble every Monday from 10 to close. And on Sunday, they're open at 8. The band that's going to be playing, Rod Tough Curls and the Bench Press.
Nice.
That's the name of the band. Their big hit, the PED Blues.
I like it.
I think. I don't know.
All right.
It's possible.
Sounds awesome.
Always something good here at the Stadium
All right.
View.
When we come back, it's showtime here at the Stadium View. Aaron Jones joins us next. Don't go away. The 5th quarter returns after this timeout.
Live from the Stadium View Bar and Grill, here are Mark Daniels and Matt Z.
Welcome back, everybody. Appreciate you coming out to the Stadium View tonight. Tough Monday after a tough game as the Packers fall to the Redskins. The Buffalo Bills coming in Sunday at Lambeau Field. It is a pleasure to welcome back our guest. He came on board as a rookie last year And I think he was one of the biggest hits. My wife absolutely adores you because you were so polite, so well-spoken, and he's back again this year from the University of Texas, El Paso. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Showtime /33. Aaron Jones back with us. Hello, Aaron.
Hello.
Good to see you back out there, Aaron.
Feels good to be back out there.
I bet it did. I was surprised you were out there a little bit, and then I was surprised at the production even a little bit more. You didn't play a whole lot in the preseason. I think you had the one preseason appearance, right, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, sir. 2, Oakland and Kansas
The
City.
last couple, you got in a couple of reps and stuff like that. But then you have to sit, obviously, for 2 weeks with a suspension. You come back. You look like you were ready to go.
Yes, sir. That caught you by surprise? That means you were doubting me.
No, I was expecting this in another week or two to really get revved up.
Aaron, Mark is always so negative. He doubts everybody.
I'm always ready. That's just when you put in the hard work and the time, you're always ready when your time comes.
You said even yesterday that you wanted to tip the cap to the guys at practice. It bounced you around enough to make sure you'd be ready to go.
Oh, yes, sir. I was running with both the actual offense, and then I was servicing the scout team as well. I get the first couple reps in that. And so just get me ready, get my wind back, taking a couple hits, and just getting my feet back on the ground.
There are hurdles in every journey, and this one was a big one. And you were very contrite about it. You were very apologetic about it, but you still had to deal with it. How was that whole process of going through NFL discipline?
Oh, well, first off, I'd like to thank my family, the Packer fans, the organization, for everybody who stuck by my side and supported me through it all. It was definitely tough, but you make the mistake, you got to pay for it, and that's what I learned as a man. That's what my parents have taught me. It was very humbling sitting at home watching the game.
I bet.
The first 2 games, you're like, hey, I know those guys, and you're just in the locker room with them, and it's just you get a different perspective watching it from your couch.
So you're back. Won't happen again. You're ready to roll.
Yes, sir.
You're going to help this offense, Aaron. There's no question about that. I mean, everyone just seemed to think now if you guys can just get off to a little better start and get the numbers in balance, the rush attempts, pass attempts, that this thing's going to finally start rolling a little bit.
Yes, sir. I mean, anytime you come out, you want to get a fast start. That's going to give you momentum to start the game. I mean, slow starts, that can drag you through the whole first quarter. So if you come out fast, you'll be ready to play, and that'll fix a lot of things for us.
There were a lot of people saying, why not keep him out there versus going a series here and a series there? Did Mike have you on a snap count because this was your first game?
No, it was just whoever was called, we were ready. I mean, I think the snaps were – me and Todd's snaps are pretty close.
Okay.
So it was just whenever they needed it back, you just had to step up.
All right. And you stepped into it right away, that's for sure. Z?
After your first big run yesterday, you seemed to have quite a bit of emotion that came out. You were pretty fired up. Was that part of the offseason, the suspension, everything just sort of coming out, how happy you were to be back on the field?
Yes, sir. That's a big part of it. And then just, I mean, proving people wrong, that's something I've always done. And I was just fired up to be back out there with my guys and showing them, hey, I still can do this. Now,
your mom is here tonight. Is she with you all the time now to make sure you don't screw up again?
My mom is with me all the time.
Is she now, this is part of it, she's just watching over you all the time?
Oh, no, she's just being my mother. Regardless if I got in trouble or not, she would still always be here. So that's how my mom's always been.
Family is obviously very, very important to you. Just the way you were raised and continuing to be a foundation for you.
Oh, yes. I mean, family's everything. Without them, I'm nothing. They've taught me everything I know, just from the basic things, respect, to keep God first. Without them, I would know nothing.
Now, you've got a twin, Alvin. He's with the Ravens, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, he's a linebacker. Has he talked to you about all of this? Clay Matthews, what's a penalty? What isn't a penalty? Has he offered his perspective on how you can tackle now and how you can't hit a quarterback?
He just said, us offensive players are getting soft, and I told him, hey, it's not us who makes the rules.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, really. It is an offensive game. Quarterbacks make the money. Fans want to see quarterbacks throw touchdowns. But, Aaron, really, they got to get hit, don't they?
Yes, sir. I mean, I think the rules are kind of crazy. I do get protect the quarterback, yes, helmet to helmet.
Certainly.
I think they did good with that, but I mean, it's kind of, you're like, I saw some yesterday watching ESPN. You're trying to tell somebody to defy the odds of gravity. Stop your body weight as you're running full speed into someone. Like, I don't know how that's possible. And Clay's even landed off to the side, like put his hands down. I don't know how you do it.
And how do you determine if it's too much body weight? Like, I mean, the rule is most or all of their body weight. I mean, how do you determine what portion of your 250 pounds landed on Alex Smith?
It just comes from the ref's judgment. I mean,
that's crazy.
So that's a 50-50 call, and you just hate to lose those.
I'd say you get
situations.
most of a defender's body weight on every tackle.
Oh, yes.
Of course.
Every play. And I mean, if you cut back on the film, you see what they did to A-Rod. The dude, like, suplexed him, did a wrestling
That was
move,
ridiculous.
and no penalty called.
Is there frustration in the locker room?
Oh no, we just know we got to stick together, start faster, and just play our game.
It's got to be tough. There's no question. I hate to be Clay. It's just got to be so frustrating.
Oh yeah, he's just like, he just doesn't know how to tackle now. He's like, how do I tackle? I'm joking. I'm gonna go play a new position and stuff like that. But no, he's losing money. I mean, anybody would be upset about losing money every time.
No, I don't think he's got. Has he gotten fined? I haven't seen a whole lot of fines come down from all these.
I think you get fined for it.
Every roughing the passer penalty.
And then, like they turn it in and they check it and stuff like that.
Yeah, Clay made reference to that. You know, that's the hardest part. He's getting hit with hard fines. He can't hit quarterbacks hard anymore.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And the explanation.
What is it like having a 300-pound lineman land on top of you?
I mean, sometimes I don't feel it. I have so much adrenaline going, and sometimes it hurts. I mean, most of the time I don't feel it when it happens. I feel it the next day.
Yeah. How long does it take your body to bounce back after a game? A lot of carries, a lot of hits?
Usually by Wednesday I'm good. But I do work out. Like today I worked out, and I'm usually active. I work out tomorrow and condition and stuff. So by Wednesday I'm ready to practice.
Are you a big massage guy? Do you do a lot of yoga, that sort of thing, keep your body loose?
Massage.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I imagine that's got to be a big part of it.
Most of us do.
Monday afternoons is Masseuse Monday, pretty much.
Yes, sir. On Fridays as well.
Really?
Yes, sir.
After the stay days and stuff?
Stay day, yes, sir.
All right, yeah.
Do you tip after every massage?
Well, the Packers pay for it.
Oh, the Packers pay for it, but
sir.
you guys don't give a little bit extra maybe around Christmas time?
I never thought about that. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Treat them right, Aaron. Come on.
Yes, sir.
Your mom's here.
Yeah,
she's
really.
going to get mad at you for not tipping now.
You came in last year, Aaron, with two other running backs, Jamal and Devontae, drafted with you. What was that like coming in to compete, and how you guys have kind of grown together now that it is just you and Jamal out of that group to try and get this thing going and become a focal point of the offense?
I mean, it's been a lot of fun. Those are two great guys, and I mean, we established great relationships. And Devontae is going to be our brother, even though he's not here. We still talk to him every day, and I mean, we just taught each other so much. And I mean, as a rookie, you come in not knowing anything, and to have those two guys, and we all leaned on each other and kind of relied on each other, and we learned it.
2 big games last year, over $125. In fact, this guy had the second best yards per carry average among rookie running backs, all running backs, behind only Alvin Kamara of the Saints, and 5.5 a pop. You were kind of like the lightning to Jamal's thunder a little bit.
Yes, sir. I'm a little bit faster than him, so he's a little bit more of a bigger back than me. Runs with a little bit more power, so we complement each other well.
All right, I would think so.
Have you guys nicknamed your tandem?
We haven't yet. We're working on it.
Nice.
Yes,
now, with Jamal, he's got a lot of intensity. After every single run, he seems to have a little bit of celebration or some fire. Is he like that 24 hours a day?
Oh, Jamal doesn't stop dancing. We're walking to meetings, he's dancing. Everything he does, he's dancing. So
he a better dancer than you?
Oh, yes, sir.
Jared Jones is our guest tonight. We're going to take a break, come back with more with Showtime. And when we come back, we'll look for a hot play of the day from the Packers and the Redskins in D.C. Don't go away. More of the fifth quarter returns after this timeout. All right, welcome back. Aaron Jones, our guest tonight here at the Stadium View. More with Aaron in a moment, but time for some fun and games part of the show. We're looking for a hot play and a cold play. And you know how it works. Our friends from Robinson will give you a prize tonight if you correctly guess the hot play of the day. And you'll also get qualified for a grand prize at the end of the year when we give away a pair of indoor club seats to the Packers and the Lions in the regular season finale. All right, looking for a hot play of the day.
Chuck is up first. What's
Chuck,
your guess?
what do you got?
Geronimo Allison's touchdown.
You know what, Chuck? We might as well just name him the Hot Player of the Year. Once again, it's Geronimo Allison.
Slot left, slot right, empty shotgun, Aaron Rodgers. Extra tight end. Here's the snap. Rodgers looking, lofts it. Deep down the middle.
Open. Allison wide open. 30, 20. No one will catch him. Touchdown, Green Bay.
Yeah, Wayne and Larry on the Packer Radio Network caught up with Geronimo in the locker room yesterday. Said Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers had seen a coverage flaw a few snaps earlier, and boy, did they take advantage of it.
Yeah, definitely. They was in the perfect defense for the perfect call, and we got out there and we executed.
Executed brilliantly, and that's our hot play of the day, the 64-yard TD. Chuck, you're in.
Congrats to Chuck.
Indeed. Well done. We'll do a
Geronimo's having a heck of a start to the season.
He really is. There was a lot of talk. Oh, my God, they let Jordy go, this and that. Geronimo was probably, we had him on earlier, Aaron, and he's just biding his time, knows it's his time, and boy, he's taking advantage of it, isn't he?
Oh, yes, sir. He's one of the hardest working guys I know. He took me under his wing when I first came in, so to see him flourish like that is amazing.
So how did he kind of mentor you that way?
He would study with me. He would just, hey, this is what you need to do on special teams. Like, it's going to start for special teams on you, and then it'll come. And he just always made sure I was in the right place at the right time, just always checking up on me.
I'm just thinking of that. I saw Marquez Valdes-Scantling last night on a kickoff cover. I mean, just a beautiful play.
Oh, yeah, he has some jets.
He does have some jets, and that's the same kind of thing. Coming into this league, that's where you have to cut your teeth.
Oh, yes, sir. I mean, you have, in his case, you have veteran receivers in front of you. You're going to have to wait your time. But so go out there and make plays on special teams, still be a factor on the team, make plays for the team.
Yeah, he's been fantastic, no question about that. I think that's 3 times out of 4 or 5 weeks, right? Geronimo's had our hot play of the day.
Yeah, he's
blocking
been awesome.
Punts, catching touchdowns.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
He does it all.
Yeah, he has been doing it all, that's for sure. Aaron Jones, our special guest tonight. The weather was terrible, wasn't it, yesterday?
Oh, it was very rainy, very muddy, a little cold.
A little cool, a little cold.
What's the toughest part about playing in the rain? Is it ball handling, or is it getting your footing and being able to make your cuts?
I'd say they're both about even. I mean, you guys trying to punch at the ball even more just because the ball's wet. It's really tough to catch the ball.
Do gloves help, or do you like the bare hands a little bit better to get the feel?
I think gloves help if you're able to keep them dry. If not, then it's gloves wet or it's like hands wet.
It's just slick on slick, right?
Yeah, but those gloves are pebbled to some extent, aren't they?
I mean, they do have some wet, like some rain gloves.
Right.
Nike has some out, but I'm with Adidas, so.
Then let's go with Adidas.
I just keep my gloves dry.
How do really? So how do you line yourself up with a manufacturer like Adidas?
Pretty much they reach out to your agents.
Do you? All right.
Your agents talk to you, you communicate with them, and you set up a deal, and you end up signing with whoever you think is best for you.
So it's all Adidas, shoes, gear, everything, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Do they obviously they keep you stocked in gear, right? I mean, how often are they sending you new products and that sort of thing?
Very often. There's always cleats in my locker.
You should see the locker room. See, I'm telling you, there's boxes at every locker every day that you guys unpack. And
do you wear a new set of cleats each game?
Usually I don't, but I'm going to wear a new pair this week because I was wearing an all-white pair, and they're muddy brown.
Yeah.
So.
I've always wondered about that with players because you see them, for baseball, always with new gloves, new cleats. I always want those things to be broken in if I'm playing a sport.
I usually keep the same cleats until they get beat down.
Okay.
I do change my gloves every game, though. It's new sticks, so you can never go wrong with that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No
is there anything that Adidas ever sends you? You're like, man, this is ugly. I'm not doing this.
Nah, they stepped their game up from back in the day, so I really like Adidas.
Nice.
Grew up in Georgia, and then a military mover, right?
Well, I was born in Georgia.
Born in Georgia.
Only there for 2 years. Moved to Germany. From there, moved to Tennessee. My parents both got deployed. Moved to Virginia with some family. Went back to Tennessee, back to Virginia, then to Texas.
What's the best part about moving around so much, and what's the toughest part about moving around so much?
You learn how to adapt quickly. I feel like I can go anywhere and be able to fit in with anyone. Being able to communicate very well. The hardest part would be just making new friends. You start somewhere, make a group of friends, and then 2 years later you have to leave and go make a new group of friends. But it was always easy for me. I had my brother. So,
any other siblings or just your brother Albin?
I have an older sister and an older brother as well.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So, yeah, I got a brother-in-law, military man, moved around a lot. Tough on the kids. But you're right. For some reason or another, adaptability becomes second nature.
I think it was pretty cool. I got to see a lot of different cultures. I got to live out of the country. I used to be fluent in German. I don't know any German anymore, but
well, I took German in high school, and I can barely speak the language all these years later. So don't feel so bad. What led you to UTEP in El Paso?
We moved there. We moved to El Paso in 7th grade. My mom got stationed there. My dad was in Egypt at the time, and the following year he got stationed there. So they were both there. Ended up staying there for high school, and my parents always said wherever we started high school, they wanted to stay there. So they were able to stay, and UTEP offered me, and then they came in late. They offered me my junior year, but I wanted to go to school with my brother, so I didn't commit right away. And they offered my brother January of our senior year, right before signing day, and then we were pretty.
So
much
that was it. It's a package deal.
And then it just made sense. It was at home. We'd be able to play in front of our family, friends, people we grew up with. So playing sports with coaches, everything.
And I follow you, and you give back an awful lot to that school. Why do you think it's important for you to get back down there, take part in so many different types of ventures?
Well, giving back is a big thing. My parents have always showed me if you're fortunate enough to give back, and I'm fortunate enough to give back now. And I mean, El Paso's home for me, and those are the people who support me and see me grow up. And I just want them to know, like, for the younger kids, younger athletes there, that it doesn't just have to be me. They can do the same thing I did. There's no boundaries to what you can do.
Keep dreaming.
Yes,
no
sir.
question.
Coming from a military family, besides, bouncing around different countries, different states, that sort of thing, what was it like being a part of a military family, just on sort of a day-to-day basis? I think when people hear military family, it's the stereotypical, very strict, discipline, no fun. You're up at 5 o'clock in the morning, you're doing chores, that sort of thing. What was it like for you and the family growing up a military guy?
It was a lot of fun. Well, sports was always involved in our life. It was strict. Like, we had rules. We had, of course, use your manners, be respectful, always be on time, and do what's asked of you. But it wasn't like drill camp or boot camp.
It wasn't 4 a.m. calisthenics?
Oh, no. It was just wake up, be on time for school, and make good grades, go to practice, be on time for practice. If you're going to do something after practice with your friends, communicate with us. If you're coming home, also communicate with us. And you get home, eat, make sure your room's clean. You can make sure your homework's done, study. And
Mom didn't break into the room at 5 a.m. with a bugle horn and wake you up every day? Nothing like that?
No.
Revelry?
No.
Revelry? No.
She understands athletes need their rest, and everybody needs their rest.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Aaron Jones, our guest tonight. We're going to take a break, come back, look ahead to the Buffalo Bills and what's next for this Packer offense, trying to get this thing straightened out. Don't go away. More of the fifth quarter live from the Stadium View right after this timeout.
We now return you to the fifth quarter, live from the Stadium View Bar and Grill. Here are Mark Daniels and Matt Z.
All right, welcome back to the View, everybody. Aaron Jones, our guest tonight. Packer running back, went 6 for 42 against the Redskins. Caught a little flare for 5 yards as well. Just the beginning for hopefully a big, big season in year 2 for Aaron Jones. Hey, we had a hot play winner right out of the gate. Let's look for a cold play of the day as well from our friends at Robinson's.
What's the cold play?
I'm going to go with Cobb's fumble.
That was chilling, yes, but they were dropping. We've had a lot of Geronimo, and we're kind of following a trend on the cold play as well,
okay.
I would think, too.
All right. What's your guess?
Matthews sack.
The cold play is becoming an NFL iceberg, ladies and gentlemen. Roughing the passer. What is it? What isn't it? Aaron Rodgers gets thrown down hard by Daron Payne, and there was no flag from referee Craig Rolstad.
He said he couldn't see through the 14 guys.
That was a nasty.
Something to that effect. I don't know if you heard what I said, but I said I'm not asking for a call here, but I'm wondering if you felt like that he slammed me on my head or not. And then he said, no, I didn't see it.
Convenient excuse from the referee.
Right.
Didn't see it, right? Well, then Clay Matthews sacks Alex Smith, and out comes the laundry. Clay's just trying to play football.
Hit him from the front, got my head across, wrapped up. I've never heard of anybody tackling somebody without any hands. When he gives himself up, as soon as you hit him, your body weight's going to go on him. But I think we're looking for the hits, that took Aaron out last year. That little extra. If I wanted to hurt him, I could have. I could have put some extra on him. But that's football. So I don't know. I really don't know. Unfortunately, this league's going in a direction I think a lot of people don't like. I think they're getting soft. And, the only thing hard about this league is the fines that they levy down on guys like me who play the game hard.
He's playing hard, that's for sure.
You remember in the
That's our
offseason,
Coldplay, yeah.
with all the different rule changes, the big one everyone was concerned about on a national scale was the helmet-to-helmet penalties.
Right.
And then how often that was called in preseason. We thought that was going to ruin the game.
He said he couldn't see through the 14.
You're not seeing that now. You're not seeing that called very often at all, but these roughing the passers.
It's been worse on the quarterbacks.
Yeah. For the first 3 weeks, I believe it was like 21 roughing the passers already called. Last year it was 9 at this point.
Really?
So, I mean, they're doing an emphasis on this, and it's affecting games.
Yeah, but roughing the passer, we all know what roughing the passer is.
Right.
Okay, sacking a quarterback is all. The first one for Matthews was roughing the passer.
Yes.
He launched.
With Chicago,
With Trubisky. Last week against Cousins, no way. This week, no way.
No.
So I don't understand what these officials are seeing that leads them to believe, and as Rolstad badly explained, his weight's on him. He did everything he could to slide off of him. And you're right, the laws of physics, Aaron, will tell you otherwise. It's almost impossible to do it.
Can't defy gravity.
You can't defy gravity.
How hard is it for a player when there's a rule change and it affects something that you guys have learned and been taught your entire football career? How hard is that for you to then try to change what your body memory is telling you to do?
You try to change a 20-year habit. I mean, it's gonna be hard. I mean, Clay's been doing that his whole career, and how do you ask somebody to slow down and hit the quarterback softly and make sure he lands softly? I mean, I don't get it.
There is that great video that some Packers fans did where a guy picks up his girlfriend and lays her gently on the grass, puts a pillow under her head, and then that's
a
a
little
sack.
kiss,
Yeah.
and then out from the background you see the flag coming in.
Yep.
That is
It's
very
a great
creative.
video.
Very creative.
And we're not quite there yet, but it's almost to the point where you've got to now actively think, I have to play soft when I get close to a quarterback. That's crazy.
Kind of how Mike D hit the quarterback.
I was just going to bring that up. Yeah, when he hit Cousins, it just kind of chest bumped him and says, that's it.
With no, that's how you tackle with no arms, I guess. Like Clay said, what do you want me to tackle with no arms?
Hard to do.
Very
hard to do. All right, Aaron, what do you think this offense has got to do to kind of get some consistency early in games?
Just a fast start, like we said. I mean, last year we came out with fast starts, and it led to a lot of points and a lot of success. So that's just something we got to do. Come out and try to score in the first series, if not the first series, the second series.
Couple of misfirings. How much if any, are you guys, the other 10 outside of Aaron Rodgers, trying to compensate for what's obviously difficult mobility for Aaron right now?
Well, I mean, mobility or not, we know we need to protect our quarterback, and we got to take hits off the quarterback even more now that he has a little bum knee. So we got to do our jobs and make sure he's able to stay healthy and finally come back full speed after the bye.
That's probably how long it's going to take, huh? For this thing, I mean, it's a couple steps forward and one step backward. He's going to be sore. Saw him today. He was walking around fine, but there's a lot of soreness in there. There's no question about that. But it really looked labored at times yesterday.
I mean, he's a warrior. I mean, just look at him. You could see he looked like he was in pain a couple times, but he got up and he went right back under center and played football, and he plays his heart out every play, and I think some people take for granted.
I know. And instead of saying maybe we should do more or compensate for his lack of mobility, we should follow his leadership and courage in the face of adversity and kind of just pick him up that way.
Yes, sir. He's not making any excuses, nobody else should be making any excuses.
Good point. Good point.
We mentioned how bad the conditions were yesterday. It was a little cool and rainy. What's the worst conditions you've ever played in at any level of your football career?
Oh, it was probably like a rain game when I was a lot younger. The field was very bad. It was like a slip and slide of mud,
like a torrential rain, not just a mist or drizzle. It sprinkled hard a couple times yesterday, but
my mom made me take off my pads and my uniform before I got in her van.
Really?
Like that bad.
No mud's coming in this vehicle. Yeah, that's
so. You were the 19th running back selected last year. Do you keep a list of the running backs who were selected before you, and kind of keep track of their stats to see how you're faring?
I pretty much remember most of them who were drafted in front of me, and it just makes me work harder. I feel like most of them weren't better than me. And I feel like none of them were better than me. I feel like I was just came from a smaller school, so not a lot of people heard about me. Didn't play as many big schools as the other teams played.
And that is a motivation for you, though, making sure that you are proving doubters wrong.
Oh yes, sir. Just showing I belong. I mean, I've always felt like I belong. That's I always bet on myself. I left school a year early. People were telling me that I was making the wrong decision. I should have stayed. And with that decision, I promised my parents I would go back to school, get my degree. But I always bet on myself. And look now, I mean, with God, anything's possible. And just be confident and always bet on yourself.
If it didn't work out, if you weren't an NFL player, what would you be doing career-wise?
Probably coaching or strength coach, something like that. Something I could stay around the game.
Well, Buffalo Bills are coming in Sunday, and holy cow, they just took apart the Vikings at U.S. Bank Stadium. I wonder.
Absolutely no one predicted that outcome.
Yeah,
Nobody.
I know a lot of elimination pools were tossed out, whatever you call it, survivor
keeper
pools.
leagues or survivor leagues,
Yeah, that one had to go. But very impressive for the Bills. Have you even taken a peek at them yet?
No, I'm going to go home after
tonight,
the radio show, and
all right,
cut on my iPad and check it out.
But yeah, very impressive, 27-6 at U.S. Bank to knock the Vikes at 1-1-1, and so here come the Bills. Micah Hyde and company returning. It'll be good to see Micah come back.
Yes, sir. I know he was a good safety, so he'll be looking to get some revenge. And
I would think
back
so.
Here.
Yeah, one of our favorites, former fifth quarter guest as well. Anything else kind of surprising you about the early or around the rest of the league? Rams, Dolphins, and Chiefs off to 3-0 starts, and a lot of young quarterbacks getting their chance. And Mahomes now 13 touchdowns.
He looks good.
No
he
interceptions.
Looks really good.
Another Texas
That's
kid.
my boy.
Patrick,
is he? That's my boy. Yes, sir. We train together. We got the same agent. Everything, so I'm very proud of him, and he puts in the work. And
did you talk to him this offseason?
Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir. We were together a couple times this offseason.
He kind of knew that this was going to be it.
Oh yes, sir. He's been telling me since he knew he was going to the Chiefs, probably 2 weeks before the combine.
Really?
Yes, sir. He was telling me. So that's pretty.
That
cool.
was a Dorsey pick too, by the way. John Dorsey was the one who picked him.
Did you hear from him during last season? Was he kind of like, hey?
I've heard from him last season. I've heard from him this season.
Was he kind of talking last year that, hey, I just need my chance. I just need my chance. I just need my chance.
No, he knew he had to sit back and learn the offense and wait his turn. And when his turn came, he knew he would be ready.
He looked good in December last year. He had a nice game, and then he's carried that over.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, just attest to how hard work pays off.
Who else you train with? I mean, everybody seems to have like a collection of guys that get together every off season and work out.
Anybody? Who else I train with Vince Beagle.
All right.
Who else? It's a lot of guys. It's two sets of like groups. I've trained with for the combine and then trained with now. I mean, I've trained with Jabril Peppers, Solomon Thomas. Who else?
All right.
Rasul Douglas from plays corner for the Eagles.
Okay.
Just a lot of people.
A lot of guys.
Yes, sir.
Stay fit.
Anyone from a different sport, kind of like a Baker Mayfield, Christian Yelich thing? Any?
I have not trained with anybody from another sport yet.
No, just football-based?
Just football.
All football. All right. Well, Aaron, you're off to the races. It's great to have you back on the field. Great to have you back on the show. It was nice to have your mom here with us tonight. That was a lot of fun.
Shout out to Aaron's mom for her service to the country. His father
well
as
done.
well,
Where'd you
both
go?
retired.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah.
Well done,
Thank
Mom.
you so much.
You raised a good one.
Also, sir, right here with the hat on. Thank you for your service
Yes.
as well.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Another
any
vet.
veterans in the house. That's awesome.
Any
All right.
veterans.
Showtime. Get after it. Stay healthy. And run to daylight. Starting Sunday against the Bills at Lambeau.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Jones, our guest tonight. When we take a break, we'll come back, send somebody in the tavern to the Packers and Bills, and wrap up the show in a moment. You're listening to the Fifth Quarter live from the Stadium View. Back after this.
We now return you to the fifth quarter, live from the Stadium View Bar and Grill. Here are Mark Daniels and Matt Z.
All right, welcome back, everybody, and appreciate you coming out tonight. Again, thanks to Aaron Jones for stopping on by. Really caught him on short notice at a late cancellation. Saw him in the locker room yesterday. What are you doing tomorrow night? Well, my mom's coming in. I said, bring her over. And that was a nice little combo, 1-2
That's
punch.
awesome, yeah.
So
No, he's such a good guy. Such a good kid.
Yeah, really is. And you know what? Like I said, very polite, very contrite, now ready to roll. I don't think we'll have to deal with any off-field issues with number 33 anymore.
No, I think he's fine. Yeah,
I think he is too, and I think he's going to be a big help to this offense. So they've got to find a way to get off to faster starts, and they're going to have to do it perhaps with some backup offensive linemen this week with the Buffalo Bills coming to town. Sean McDermott was on the chopping block after a very shaky start, but boy, what amazing things can happen in just 1 week. So they come in at 1-2. Packers 1-1. This has turned into a very large performance here for the Packers at home.
And very odd team, the Bills. On paper, it seems kind of like a pushover sort of a team. You know, they started the year not very good, and then yesterday they just acted like world beaters.
Josh Allen,
yeah. The rookie jumps all over Minnesota. Minnesota can't find the offense early. You know, you're freaking okay. You're down 17-0. Maybe Kirk Cousins will lead them back. Nope, it just kept snowballing from there.
So can we tell anything about anyone 3 weeks into this season? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. It's so early. And, you know, once the first month is gone, you start to see trends on teams. You start to see that. I think once you get into October, week into October or so, yeah, then you start feeling out what these teams are about.
Well, this was supposed to be the soft spot of the schedule for the Packers as the Bills, the Lions, 49ers, now without Jimmy Garoppolo. Ooh.
Ouch. $135 million man now with a torn ACL.
ACL done for the season with the 49ers, and then the bye, and then it really gets tough with the Rams, Pats, and everything else. So the Packers got to figure this thing out pretty quickly, and I don't know if it's going to be difficult with a hobbled Aaron Rodgers, and now changes on the D-line and maybe on the O-line. Let's see what happens come Sunday.
Starts one drive at a time, right? You build that momentum, you start hot, and that kind of snowballs. You get a win, it builds into the next week. I think they'll be okay.
I think that Randall Cobb won't drop a ball. I don't think Lance Kendricks will drop a ball. If he drops another one like that, yikes.
Yeah. That was bad.
Funny, as bad as it was for the Packers, I didn't see the Skins' greasy hands at all either.
Right.
I mean, they were able to hang on to it. They're a big part of the game. So let's see how they respond. All right, well, before we go, we got to send somebody to the Packers and the Bills. Our friends from Robinson offering a couple of ducats to the ball game. Gene's going to the ball game.
That's it. Thanks, everybody.
All right, we'll see you next Monday night. So long.